Have you ever looked at your bank account and feel like your money got kidnapped by a raccoon with a gambling addiction? One minute you got paid, the next minute your checking account looks like a post apocalyptic wasteland with $12 and a suspicious charge from a gas station burrito you barely remember buying. The scary part is most people are not broke because they are lazy or stupid. They are broke because they keep making the same financial mistakes over and over while thinking it is normal adult behavior. Society has basically turned horrible money habits into personality traits, and people will brag about being bad with money like it is some cute little quirk instead of reasons they panic every time their car makes a noise. And the wild thing is, almost everybody does at least a few of these financial disasters without realizing how much damage they cause long term. So today, we are exposing the poor financial decisions everybody makes and why they wreck their future and how people accidentally stay broke while convincing themselves they are winning. First up is a lifestyle inflation, also known as the "I got a raise, so now I need a leather seat" disease. This is one of the biggest traps on earth because every time people make money, they immediately increase their expenses instead of increasing their wealth. Somebody gets a $5,000 raise and suddenly they think they deserve a luxury apartment, a giant truck, 15 streaming services, and coffee that costs more than a gallon of gas. Instead of building savings, paying off debt, or investing, they quietly upgrade themselves into financial prison. And the problem is, your expenses rise so fast that you never actually feel richer. You just become a more expensive version of broke. Then there's the classic mistake of financing absolutely everything. Modern society has mastered the art of convincing people to make monthly payments forever. Like phones, furniture, watches, mattresses, televisions, gaming PCs, vacations, and even food can now be financed. People walk around with six different payments, draining their income every month while telling themselves they are doing fine because the payment is only $50. This is how people accidentally build a life where every dollar they earn is already spoken for before they even get paid. And speaking of payments, let's talk about cars because holy financial destruction, Batman. Cars are one of the fastest ways people destroy their wealth while pretending they are successful. Somebody making $40,000 a year somehow ends up with a $700 car payment, premium insurance, and expensive maintenance and gas costs that hit like a Mike Tyson uppercut. The average person buys cars based on emotion instead of math. Then they want status, validation, and the attention. Meanwhile, the car is dropping in value faster than a lead balloon. And people will live in a tiny apartment but drive vehicles that look like they belong to millionaires. And the saddest part is most people spend more time researching a pizza sauce or a pizza place than they do researching a major financial purchase. Another massive mistake people make is ignoring emergency savings because nothing screams confidence like being one flat tire away from complete emotional collapse. Emergencies are not rare events. Your car will break, your water heater will explode, your dog will decide swallowing socks is a personality trait. Life constantly throws surprises expenses at people. Yet millions walk around with no safety net whatsoever. Then the second disaster strikes, they slap the entire thing on a credit card and begin the beautiful process of paying double because of interest. Credit card debt is one of the nastiest financial traps because it grows quietly while people pretend it is not real. Some folks treat credit cards like free money instead of borrowed money. They buy things they cannot afford, make minimum payments, and suddenly realize they are fighting a financial boss battle they cannot win. Interest eats people alive because they underestimate how powerful compounding works when it is working against them instead of for them. And let's talk about impulse spending because companies have turned shopping into psychological warfare. Everything is designed to make people spending emotionally. Stores pump smells into the air. Apps send them notifications like greedy X's or needy X's. Online shopping makes buying things so easy that people can financially sabotage themselves while sitting on the toilet. Most purchases are emotional, not logical. People buy things because they are bored, stressed, insecure, jealous, or trying to reward themselves for surviving Tuesday. And the worst part is people confuse wants with needs constantly. Somebody says they need the newest phone when their current one works just perfectly fine. Another person claims they need a bigger TV while ignoring the fact that they have $20 in savings. Companies have become experts at making people feel incomplete without products they never cared about 5 minutes earlier. Another terrible financial decision is everybody makes an underestimating small purchase. People love saying things like, it's only $10, but they say it 50 times a week. Little spending leaks sink financial ships. Daily fast food, random snacks, delivery fees, energy drinks, mobile game purchases, subscriptions nobody uses, and the convenience spending quietly drains thousands every year. You know, people focus so much on giant purchases that they ignore the constant drip of unnecessary spending destroying their budget. And subscriptions are especially brutal now because companies know most people are too distracted to cancel anything. And some people are paying monthly for apps they forget existed during the Obama administration. Then we have the dangerous habit of trying to look rich instead of becoming rich. This one destroys people financially because social media turned life into a nonstop competition. People feel pressured to appear online, successful online, when they are financially drowning offline. They lease luxury cars, buy designer clothes, take vacations they cannot afford, and post filtered pictures pretending life is amazing while sweating over overdraft fees. Wealthy people often look normal. Broke people trying to impress strangers usually look expensive. This that is a scam. And real wealth is ownership, investments, saving, assets, and freedom. Fake wealth is taking selfies in front of things the bank technically owns. Another brutal mistake is avoiding investing because people think they need to be rich first, and this belief absolutely crushes long-term wealth building. People wait too long because investing sounds intimidating, confusing, or risky. Meanwhile, inflation quietly eats their savings alive like a financial termite infestation. The biggest advantage ordinary people have is time, but most people waste years doing nothing because they think investing is only for rich guys in suits yelling at stock markets. Even small, consistent investing over long periods can massively change someone's future. The strategy is people will gamble money on sports bets, mystery boxes, or crypto coins named after dogs, but refuse to invest in steadily in proven long term assets because that somehow feels too risky. And while we are exposing financial chaos, let's talk about people who refuse to budget because they think budgeting sounds restrictive. Budgeting is not punishment, it is literally telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it disappeared. Without a budget, people operate financially like raccoons in a dumpster. Everything becomes random chaos. The average person has no clue how much they actually spend every month. They just swipe cards and hope the math works out somehow. And they are shocked when they cannot save money even though they order through takeout to feed a small football team every week. A budget does not mean you cannot enjoy life. It just means you stop financially freelancing with your future. Another common disaster is relying entirely on one source of income. One job loss, injury, company shutdown, or economic downturn can absolutely wreck somebody with no backup plan. Too many people build their entire existence around one paycheck and assume stability will last forever. The modern economy changes constantly. This is why building extra income streams, learning valuable skills, or creating side incomes matters so much. Even a small second income can create breathing room and reduce financial stress dramatically. And let's be honest, most companies will replace employees faster than a fast food worker replaces ketchup packets. Loyalty to a company does not guarantee security anymore. Now, here's another painful truth people avoid. Many people never learn basic financial literacy because schools barely teach it. People graduate knowing random historical facts but have no clue how taxes, credit, investing, insurance, or retirement actually works. Then adulthood arrives like a folding chair to the face. Suddenly, people are signing loans, opening credit cards, financing vehicles, and making huge money decisions with the financial education of a confused potato. And that ignorance becomes expensive very quickly. And because people feel embarrassed about money, they avoid asking questions until the problems spiral out of control. Another terrible financial decision is not planning for retirement because people think retired is some distant future or fantasy for old people wearing cargo shorts in Florida. Time moves insanely fast. The earlier somebody starts saving for retirement, the easier it becomes because compounding does the heavy lifting. Waiting until your 40s or 50s creates massive pressure because now you're trying to sprint financially instead of slowly building the momentum over decades. Future you is either going to going to be incredibly grateful for unbelievably stressed depending on what choices you make today. And finally, one of the biggest financial mistakes people make is believing more money automatically solves bad habits. It does not. People with terrible money habits usually stay terrible with more money, and they just make bigger mistakes with larger numbers. Financial discipline matters more than income alone, and there are people making six figures living paycheck to paycheck, and people making average incomes quietly building wealth because they control the spending, avoid stupid debt, invest consistently, and think long term. Money is a tool if nobody lacks discipline, and the tool becomes a weapon pointed directly at their own future. The good news is that the most financial mistakes are fixable if people are honest with themselves. You do not need to become a billionaire monk living in a cave eating canned beans. You just need awareness, the consistency, and the ability to stop treating every emotional impulse like a shopping emergency. Building financial stability is usually less about giant dramatic changes and more about eliminating repeated stupid decisions. The people who win financially are often not geniuses, they are just people who stopped sabotaging themselves long enough for good habits to finally work. Thanks for watching today. If you found value in today's video, please subscribe. That's all I ask. Just subscribe. We're looking to build this channel, and without subscriptions, YouTube says we can't grow. So if you would, please subscribe to the channel if you found value, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.